Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live this morning, and hope you had having a great start to your day. And wait for a few folks to come on again, and we'll do our little roll call here. Here we go. Who's number one today that we're going to say hello to? Andrea, Niagara Falls. Good morning. Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, right away. Francis Marie. Jen from Cape Breton. Brahim, Portland, Oregon. Nativity, good morning. Jeanette from our staff. And Georgie from Halifax. Wendy, Markham. And Mary from Norwich. Micheline. Bon lundi. Nick from our staff, good morning. Donna, Park Hill. Deb, Timmons. Jeanette, good morning. And Corrine, New Brunswick. Kevin, Oshawa. Sandy, Chilliwack, BC. Sue, good morning. And Olive, Oregon. And Debbie, New Brunswick. Dave, Muskoka. Maggie, Florida, and she says it's cold. Olga, good morning, New Brunswick. Francis Marie and Barbara, Cape Breton. Zian, bonjour. Elaine, and another Diane, Thunder Bay. Jeanne, or Jean, South River. Gail, Lori Lee, good morning from Ventura, California. We appreciate you guys. And Martina, Chibougamau, Quebec. Well, bonjour, Martina. Good morning. And Chantal from Ottawa, Stouffville. Joe, Serpa, Dowling. Sue from Espanola. Annette from Nouveau Brunswick. Cold in Florida. Mara. We appreciate you guys. Karen, good morning. Indiana. Claire, good morning. Couple more and let's get going. Marilyn from Kelowna. Yolande. Bonjour. Babika is on with us this morning. And Norma from Texas. Lisa, good morning. And Martina, Sue, St. Petersburg, Florida. IT, Unionville. Patricia, right in our backyard in Sudbury. Deanna, LaSalle. And Kathy, good morning. Okay. How many of you, okay, I'm just asking the question, watch the World Cup in soccer, okay? I got to admit to you that, look, I love sports, okay? I don't know if you knew that or not. I love sports and soccer a little bit more than I used to because I have a granddaughter that is an elite soccer player, okay? So I appreciate the game and how, you know, when I think of sports, especially at the elite professional level, you realize how good those athletes are, right? And in soccer, you know, if you run around and kick a ball, then you realize, you know, boy, are they ever elite. And hockey, the same thing. I played a lot of hockey, you know, growing up. But you know what my favorite sport is baseball. I love baseball. Even as a Canadian, I love baseball more than any other sport. I'm a baseball nut. And I still love playing old timers ball. Love it. Now, the reason I bring it up in sports, that yesterday, I guess he's the greatest player in the world, plays for Argentina. His name is Messi, M-E-S-S-I. Okay? And I want you guys to know this because you probably haven't heard of this. And Sue's going, yeah, Blue Jays all the way. Gertie said she loves soccer. Okay, well, like I said, I was a hockey puck, and baseball, and I like football. I like the NFL football and watching it. Now, let me just say this, that Messi, I don't know if you knew this or not, apparently the best, and some say of all time. I don't know about that. But one thing I know is that he brought over 6,000 pounds of meat to the World Cup. I read an article on it. He brought over 6,000 pounds of meat. Now, hopefully for all his team. And not just him, but guys, and the reason I bring it up, because of the timing of it, is generally athletes know this. Now, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I did a lot of work. I'm not so much anymore, but I used to do a lot of work and consultation with professional hockey players, professional football players, NFL. I've told you the story of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when you watch the movie Concussion, that whole movie really was unbelievable about one of the players that I knew very well. Very well. And so I did a lot of consultation. Let me tell you what I have been telling you for a long time. Okay? Eat meat. You want to perform at the highest level? Eat meat. Because that's the highest source of protein. There's protein in plants, but it's not even comparable because of the bioavailability. Incredible, isn't it? But Messi is reading an article, and that might upset, the vegetarians of the world and the vegans of the world. But Messi knew and knows to get the best out of his body, you better fuel it properly. You better fuel it properly. And when I used to speak to athletes and give them nutritional counseling, I used to remind them, if you want to be at the top of your game, a guy like Mike Webster in the movie Concussion, watch that movie, guys. If you haven't watched it, watch it over Christmas time. It's one of the best movies. And I know you're going to say, well, it's all about football. I don't like football. No, it's not about football. It's about concussions. It's about a real good friend of mine that passed away from repeated concussions, playing football in the NFL for about 17 years. And 4 Super Bowl rings, and is in the Hall of Fame of football. Knew him personally. And man, that guy ate a lot of meat. But guys, I'm just trying to make the point, okay? Because you go on Netflix, you'll do this, you'll do that, and you'll hear all about how bad meat is for you. And one article after another article after another article will tell you, don't eat meat, it's bad for you, it's bad for cancer, it's bad for heart disease, it's bad for the environment, it's bad for everything. And we got to get rid of the cows, okay? Ugh. And I just thought I would sort of bring it up because of the timing and reading this article. 6,000 pounds. 6,000 pounds of meat. Again, it said he brought it over to the World Cup. But again, the article didn't go in to say whether he was whether he shared any of that with his teammates. But again, I double down, triple down. Don't believe the narrative. Don't let the world influence you when it comes to your nutritional choices. And I'm not even saying that people that, even some of my guru friends, okay? I read an article about one of my colleagues, and, he was making a point that, you really got to be careful with saturated fat and eating too much red meat. And you know what? I love the guy, but he's wrong. They get so influenced by the world around them. And, you say a lie long enough, it must be true. It doesn't make it true, folks. And you know me, I've said this since the cows came home. Consistent. The bioavailability of protein. Protein is king. Protein is the king of the castle for your body. And carbs are the dirty rascal, the sugars. Okay? And so I had to start off this week because of timing to remind you of the importance of meat. Don't ever believe some doctor of any kind, some dietitian or nutritional guru tells you to stop eating red meat. Run. They don't know what they are talking about. Scientifically, they can never bring in science. They have to bring in propaganda. They have to bring in a narrative. Because it's never science. It's never science. Because, and we'll get into this week, a new study on B12 deficiency. How serious it is. How it is silent. That deficiency starts, and like I said, we'll break it down later this week. But deficiency starts, it's silent. People don't know it because there's no warning really about what's happening in the body, but that deficiency of vitamin B12. And guys, you have to admit this. I've been talking about B12 for a long time. Well, listen, doctors used to be well trained on B12. They used to be. In the 1950s, in the 1940s, it was a big part of medical training, B12. And it wasn't because people weren't eating meat at the time, because they ate much more meat then than we do today. Because the propaganda hadn't started. But even then, doctors understood the importance of B12. And it was nothing for a physician, nothing for a physician in the 1940s and 1950s to give you a B12 shot. It was, if you were tired. I remember physicians, even when I was a kid, they had B12 in their remember doctor's bags? Do you remember those things? You know, you got to be old, right? Doctor's bags? What are you talking about? Well, they had their stethoscope, and they had, they had a blood pressure cuff in there, even in those days, and, they had B12 in their bags. So when they used to do house calls, I know you're going, what's a house call? What's a house call? I understand that. Medicine has changed today, right? House call. What? But they used to do house calls, and they used to give you a B12 shot like, oh, you're tired? Here's B12. Without a blood test. They didn't test your blood for B12. They didn't. Who cares what your blood says? Oh, you're tired? Oh, you're pale? It was just a big part of medicine. You got to be my age to know that, but I'm telling you, my wife, who's a nurse, I always say, marry a nurse. You never go wrong. They're hard workers. And my wife was a top-notch nurse. Even before I married her. Okay? And it was nothing for nurses. It was a big part of their training, was to give people B12 shots. And my wife gave thousands and thousands of B12 shots. Yeah. Not anymore. Has medicine got smarter? No. No. Because medicine, two things. They got hijacked by the labs. Medicine has been hijacked. I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay? So for you new folks on with me today, I'm not telling you to get rid of your doctor. I'm not telling you that. What I'm saying is that modern medicine, and there's a lot of wonderful things in modern medicine, okay? Really. All I'm saying is they've been hijacked. One, by the pharmaceutical companies. The pharmaceutical companies could care beans about your B12. They don't care about it. There's no money in it. And look, they do wonderful things too, even the pharmaceutical companies. I'm not saying eliminate the pharmaceuticals. I'm giving you a reality check. Medicine has been hijacked by pharmaceuticals. And because of that, they don't train doctors in nutrition. They don't know anything. They wouldn't know a macro if it slapped them. They don't get any training. How much protein, doc, should I eat? Well, I said, you should ask my audience. They know more than their family doctor or their physicians. Doctors don't get training in nutrition. You think, I mean, is food not important to your body? Well, you guys know that. But it's amazing. Medicine, generally, okay, you got a doctor that studied nutrition. Well, they did it outside of medical school. Because most Canadian institutions teach in medical training, and American, they don't get nutritional training. I used to offer postgraduate training to physicians. I used to teach them. And I called them a bunch of dummies before we started the course. In my sense of humor. You're a bunch of dummies. There's 3 macros. Have to start at the beginning. Protein, fat, and carbs. Now let's talk about those 3. Right from the start. But what I'm saying is, the reason that nutrition is not important, that's why a fella, by the way, we talked about this a week ago or so, we talked about a big cereal killer. He was the inventor of cereal, Dr. Kellogg's. And do you know that Dr. Kellogg's and his associates were able to hijack medicine? Because nobody knew anything or too much. So Dr. Kellogg said, yeah, well, you know what? Red meat's not good for you. I want to change. I don't want North Americans getting up in the morning and having bacon and eggs. It's not good because it's full of cholesterol. He started it. And medicine, instead of pushing back and saying, that's not true. I mean, where's all the protein? Where's all the, B12, where is it? Well, it's not in the plant kingdom. I mean, you only have to take Nutrition 101. I talked to you about this, a professional athlete, talk about it, a hockey. Some athletes don't get the memo. There's a fella that used to play, well, he finished his career in Montreal, but he played in, I think it was Edmonton, most of his career. A fellow by the name of George Larac. He was a fighter, a big-time fighter in hockey. And he had a long career, and good for him. But he's a vegetarian. No, he's a vegan now. But even on a podcast that I listened to the other day, he admitted, well, he said, I'm a vegan, therefore I have to take B12 every day. I rest my case. I have to take B12 every day. I rest my case. Why do you have to take B12 every day? Because you're not eating meat. You're not eating red meat. How can red meat, I always tell people, how can red meat be bad for you? How could it be bad for you? It's got B12 in it. How can it be bad for you? You go to the grocery store and you see these pieces of steak and you look at them, and the world and its system wants to train you to look down in the meat section and look at that and say, that's a heart attack. My friend, come with me in the grocery store and I will bring you to the cereal section and I will show you a heart on the box of Cheerios and I will tell you, if you eat this, you will have a heart attack. Not the meat, but the cereal. And then I'll bring you over to bread, the bread section. Go there today, friend. Go through the grocery store. You know what you'll never see? Never see a shortage of cereal. And you'll never see a shortage of bread. You might see shortages of meat, but never cereal and bread. You know why? Because the food companies, my friend, the food companies, my friend, they've duped the world. They've duped the world. Their propaganda has won the day. It really has. It's won the day. But isn't it amazing? Like an athlete like this, what's his name again? Messi? Okay? A great soccer player? Nah, he knows better than that. He wants to perform at the level, better be eating meat. Yep, better be eating meat. My friend, medicine got hijacked. It got hijacked by the pharmaceutical industry. And secondly, it got hijacked. It really has. And again, please, to bring balance, please understand where I'm coming from. Am I against the pharmaceutical industry? No. I'm not. It can save your life. You need an antibiotic because you got a raging infection? Yep. It can save your life. Steroids can save your life. Prednisone can save your life. If needed. So I'm not saying food is everything. It's not. But it's huge, isn't it? And think about it. We're talking about health. And I love my physician friends, but they know very little about nutrition. Very little. That was brought to you by the pharmaceutical industry. And even today, can I say something else? I'm going to bring this in because I just talked about the pharmaceutical industry. You're not going to hear this. Well, it's certainly not going to make headlines. Do you know that a study just came out on the virus and coffee? That coffee, a study was done. That coffee really helps to protect your body. That vitamin C. Why did I say that? Because coffee is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Okay, anyway, let's get back. Now, one, pharmaceutical industry hijacked medicine. Okay? Hijacked medicine. Medicine training is brought to you, sponsored by Pfizer. Bears. Okay? The big ones. They sponsor it. Okay? Doesn't mean it's bad. Just understand where it's coming from. Number two, medicine. Modern medicine has been hijacked by the laboratories. And doctors are into numbers more than anything else. Now, there's good doctors, okay? Please. Okay? There's some really good doctors. And they understand the importance of true medicine. Okay? My son-in-law, he's smart because he married my daughter. No, he's emergency medicine. But, you know, he was telling me, oh, it's so much better that I see the patient. You know, this stuff online and, you know, let's let's do Zoom with my doctor or FaceTime with my doctor. And that drives my son-in-law crazy. He doesn't like it because he said, I got to observe. I got to look. I got to touch. I have to look and see. I have to feel. That's old-time medicine, my friend. Okay? That's old-time medicine. Let me look at you. Let me see you. Let me ask questions. That's medicine. But what's happened in a lot of areas is the lab, the doctor, you go to your doctor and, hey doc, I'm exhausted. I don't feel good. I'm gaining weight. My hair's falling out. Blah, 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 blah. And well, okay, let's do lab work. And a week later or 2 weeks later or whatever, you get your lab results and it says normal. It's normal. So, and you know, guys, I've heard this tens of thousands of times, not to exaggerate. I mean it. Then my doctor said, well, I don't know why you're tired. Because your lab work is good. You see, guys, that's hijacking. It is. Because symptoms are very important. As a matter of fact, I put them ahead of the lab. I'm not against the labs. I want you, folks. You want my 2 pennies on your lab results? Well, send me your lab results. You can send me 10 pages, but I'm not looking at it. What's this mean, Doc? Well, Google it if you want to know what it means. I'm going to tell you what I'm looking at. It's part of my new book. 8 blood tests that tell you everything you need to know. And so it's not that I'm against labs. I'm not. But I want to know how you're feeling. If you don't have good energy, that's not normal. I'm 70, gonna be 71. I got good energy. Now I thank the Lord for that. And the only time I don't have good energy is when I don't sleep properly. Okay? Because it's not normal to be tired all the time. It's not normal to gain weight when you're only looking at food. It's not normal. So that's why I get all excited. All of that to tell you about B12 again. Because first of all, the B12 testing is 100 years old. I've always said it. Let's give it a birthday party and let's retire the B12 test. Well, no, if you get training to know what real significant B12 numbers are. Look, guys, I was in practice all this time. And so when I saw B12 numbers, it was amazing to me that, oh, doc, my numbers are normal. I said, what are your numbers? I want to see them. And I used to do a different B12 test. I said, your numbers are normal for a mouse, not for you. You're a human being. You need to have much higher B12 levels than a mouse. They haven't changed their numbers in 100 years. It's time to change their numbers. And medicine is not used to that. They're not used to it. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to finish with this. 80% of the population, it may be higher, but it's not lower, is low in B12. For all of the reasons that I told you in this podcast. What did I say? People don't eat meat like they used to. We have been, my friend, duped. Be like Messi. Be like Wayne Gretzky. Be like Michael Jordan. Be like other many, many professional athletes that I counseled. I'll tell you what, they were big-time meat eaters, and especially red meat. Okay, enough of my rant for today. Have I told you lately that I love you guys? I haven't? Okay, I do. Thank you guys for putting up with my shenanigans on a daily basis. We got a great week coming, okay? And should be a lot of fun. Tell your friends. Invite them to hear the other side. I'm bringing you the other side. Okay? And we love you. And I mean it. And we'll talk to you soon.